I think it's time to start now. It's quite some time now. Like we're doing this for quite some time. Okay, no problems. So I have a whole new environment, and it's black, and it's really new for me. Not new for me, but it has to be new for you because we were coding in a white environment. No problems, the code is the same. We left on to the maths quiz, and I think we're gonna continue from that point. So I'm just gonna make sure we continue from that same point where we left. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if this works. So it's just image. Okay, so we have a question here. We have some images, a chess image. We've got a cube image, an image which shows like how many triangles are there. And then there's an image that is like which tank will fill first. So we've got a series of basically 9 questions, and four of these questions require images, and that's what we're using these images for. So make sure when you collect all the questions, you have your images with them. Images are kind of interactive, and that's why they help a lot. So I'm just gonna say like. You have some logical questions, you have some math questions, and basically this is gonna be a quiz. So you must include at least 10 questions. I've included 9. And at the last, we're gonna see the score. So I'm gonna run this. So as you can see, like we're really like we just started kind of. We just click the button and there's an image showing up. I'll just tell you how this works. So we've learned about the libraries, the modules that are included. Next, we define the pygame.init function, and here are the colors defined in the places. So, and then there's the width and height of the screen. Next, we've got the pygame.display.set mode thing, and then there's a set caption thing. You've learned all of this before. Then there's the display.update function, or let's say method that is being called. Here I have loaded all of my images. This is the cube image. Maybe it's here. Okay, it's gonna say how many more small cubes you need to make a full cube. So here, if you count, there's 4 and 4 and 4, that's 12, and 3 and 3, that's gonna be 12 plus 9, 21, and then there's gonna be 2 more, so 23. But make sure you make it a full cube. So here there are, it's a 5 by a 5 by okay, so there's some problem here. Okay, you wanna make sure that this is a whole full-fledged cube. So the answer to this, we'll just see, look at that, but here let's see what's going on. So there's this cube image, then there is this tank image. The answer to this is K. So I'll tell you the logic in just a minute. I've got a couple of questions too. You can pick any question which you want because we know how to, put text onto the screen. We've learned about text functions and all of that stuff. And here we go about chess. So the original image that I used for chess is that was too large for this game, for this window. So I've transformed it to a pixel amount of whatever, 400 400. And then there is a triangle image which says how many triangles are there. I just found this on Google, and that image was also too big. If I just remove this, then that image becomes really big. Just gonna show you how that looks. So as you can see, this image is really big and we don't want that. So that's why we use the transform dot scale method, just like that. We've learned about all of this. And then there's a new library which we have used for the first time, that is pick button. And then here we have created an object named as button, and button is equal to pick button dot pick button, and there are these 4 values, the x y coordinates, and then the height and width of the button, and then there is the text that we want to show on the button. Okay, after that, we've got this draw text function, which draws any kind of text onto the screen. And then this is the draw options function, which shows options onto the screen for each question. Then there is this variable that is running that is set to be true. And this is how we control the while loop while running. And then we've got the score that is at initially the score is always zero, because you don't start with a score of like, you always start with zero. And I don't need to explain this. We'll look at this variable in just a second. Before that, I want to show you the main loop, because there's nothing after that. So we've learned this for event in pygame.event. If anytime the user want to quit the window or the game or whatever, then you have to call this function. Else you have this function. Now this is new to you all, because uh, this is uh, this is triggered when we click that button. So if there is a click in the button not handle event, which is a method which is called in the pick button library, which we imported here. So here that's a function. And num1 equals to true. So initially num1 is equal to false, and whenever we click that button, that variable becomes true. And when that if that variable becomes true at any time, we want to blend that my try image, just for an example, onto the screen. If we want to write some text instead, so we can just say something like draw text. So I'm just gonna experiment with this thing. So I'm gonna say draw underscore text. Now the text is test. I know I'm just brushing up a little bit after the huge break that we had. So text, the size of the text, the x and y coordinates, and then the color. So I want the size to be maybe 30. 30 is too big. 20. The x and y, let's say that is 100. And then the color, let's say that's of blue color. So okay, we got the blue color. Now what is this blue? This is not inbuilt. We've defined all the colors here, where blue has the RGB value of 00 and 220 255, and you can just pick any color from the internet. So I'm gonna run this, and whenever I click that button, okay, there's an error. Okay, uh argument one was okay. So just a second, I think I just put that wrong. Okay, to pygame the font, that is the size. Render this on, what the heck is D? Okay, D. Okay, yes. So text and true and color, X and Y. Actually, don't know, because I changed the whole thing. So free sans bowl.tdf is all right. Screen. Okay, I think we didn't define the screen. I think we did define. Okay, so what's the problem? Let's see. It was working like with the image. Draw text test. There's the value of 100. Argument one must be pygame.surface. None. I actually don't know what this is saying. So this is the argument one. Screen.blit. Okay. I know what. So this is not screen.blit. This is just the draw text function. Okay. Now I'm sure this will work. So as you can see, when we click the button, that text is visible. Uh, okay. So there's nothing on the screen initially, and when we click this button saying start the quiz, it's a test thing. Okay. And okay, so that's where we are right now, where we left, like before. So let's continue today. Okay, so there's a function that we're gonna write that will change the screen between any two questions. So that is what you've already learned in which game, the balls game. So I'm just gonna define this real quick. So this is def. Here comes change, and change screen is quite better. Change screen. Here you'll need some arguments, that is the screen on which you wanna build that. Next is the question which you want to show. This is for the questions, okay. And then there's the color. So there's the color and the x and y coordinates. Then we got a colon here. Okay, just a second. Spacing. Okay. Okay, after that, we got the same old thing like screen dot fill color. Equivalent all of this. There's nothing. Okay, what is this? Color. Okay, okay, yes, color. Learned all of this, nothing new. So I'm just gonna write this function real quick. This is a variable because there's a equal to sign after that. So pygame dot font dot font. I'm gonna go free sans bold dot ttf, which is inbuilt in pygame library. No, not Python. It's inbuilt in the pygame library. So if you want any other font, there's a video for that too. So I'm gonna okay, I'm gonna okay, let's say there's a variable d that is gonna render this onto the screen. The terms might be familiar to you because the text. Okay, where's the text? Okay, I'm just really okay. There's this question. I'm going really slow after this big break so that we can pick up speed. Next, I'm gonna give a a color, that is pink. These are the values. Okay, just a second. I'll just explain them to you. 225 and 120. Okay, this makes sense. What is this size now? This is gonna be 30. Uh-huh. Now we gotta blend this onto the screen. So screen dot blend b at the x and y positions. Okay. So basically what this function does is it changes the color of the screen basically. So let's say when you start the game, the color is black. There's some text on the screen. And then when you click that button, that's the only interactive thing, on the whole screen. So when you click that button, the color of the whole screen changes, the background color, I mean. And then this is for the question that you want to show under the screen, because each and every question has to be some text, right? Like how many cubes are need to make a big cube, or how many triangles are there. Though a question is here, but I have provided questions like in everything. And what a question related to this is that how many rectangles are there in a chessboard. So the answer is okay, so the answer is 1296. So there are 1296 rectangles on a chessboard. Of course, I got that from Google. I didn't sit and count that. And that's how it goes. So let's keep that function away for now. When we'll need it, we'll go ahead and use that function to change the screen whenever. Or let's say, there are the options, and then there's a text saying press the key of your answer, 1 2 3 or 4. So after the user presses the key, that is 1 2 3 or 4, we need to change the screen, the color of the screen. Maybe you want to change the color of the text, maybe. And the color 225, no, 255, 255 and 120 is something like this. It's gonna show you how that color looks like. So 225, 225, 120. Why am I saying 225? It's 255. Okay, so the color looks something yellowish. It's basically a yellow color. And this is the color of the question that I'm gonna use in, okay. So now, after we've defined that change function, let's frame the starting of the screen. When the user starts the game. So the code for that is really really simple. You just have to give some text onto the screen, and that's how it'll basically work. So first of all, let's remove this thing when on the button click. So if we'll need, we'll just say that this okay. Now initially we got to be filling the screen with a black color, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill the screen with black color. Next, I'm gonna draw some text that is, this is a maths quiz, and below that is, if you type anything other than the right answer, it will be considered wrong. This is the sentence below the previous one. And then there's a text saying click on the button below. And then after the user clicks on the button, we'll have to change the screen. So let's just render this text onto the screen. So we've got a function for that, which we defined in our previous session, maybe, which is the dot text function, which requires the text, the size, the x and y, and then the color. So I'm just gonna say this is something like draw text. The text is, I'd rather say welcome to the maths quiz. Welcome to the maths quiz. Okay, so after we got the text, we gotta give that size, right? The text, then its size. Okay, so we got to give the size of the thing. So I'm gonna give it as 30. That's what is coming to my mind, because the initial values that I've given it, they're not gonna be right, of course. So I'll just do a trial and error method. I'll just try giving different values and see which one is gonna go perfect. So I'm gonna give it a green color, and let's see how this works. So I'm just gonna see this onto the screen saying welcome to the maths quiz. Now if you wanna replace if you wanna change this position, you have to simply change the x and y coordinates, and that will take this thing to a different part of the screen. So basically I'm gonna move it a little bit to the left side, and for that I'm just gonna change this value from 180 to maybe 150. Let's see how much change that this make. So it's what I want, and maybe if I wanna uh, pull it a little down, I'm gonna change the y value to something different. I'm gonna give it maybe 70. Will that work? Not a big change, but still. Okay, this is fine for me. So we've got the first text. Now all okay. I'm gonna copy this and paste this 4 times. One, two, three. We've got 3 texts, or we got the four. Okay. In total, we've got 4 texts. So after this, I'm gonna change the text to um press the key of the correct answer. Press the key of the correct answer. So I'm gonna give this a color of light pink. So we've defined all of these colors above. I'm just gonna say light pink. So the values, the RGB values of the light pink color is, where it is. Okay, this is 255. This is 90, and then 250. Okay, is that 250? Yeah. So that's how it basically works. Okay, we've got the text of the text size of the color as 30. Maybe increase that a little bit. No, a little bit, something like that. I'm gonna pull down the y-axis thing to maybe something like 90. Let's see how this looks. So this is called the trial and error method. Okay, so we've pulled this down to 90, and there seems to be a lot of confusion. So I'm just gonna go ahead and change this 90 to maybe 120. That'll make a good thing. And I'm gonna pull this x-axis towards their left side of my screen. I'm gonna give it a value of 80. So this is what is going to be happening. This seems to be correct, pretty much correct, and this is basically what we wanted. So press the key of the correct answer, else it will be considered wrong. Okay, so now let's just see this, else it will go wrong. Now this, I'm gonna give it a font color of a red. So here it goes, red. Okay, there's gonna be this red color that's gonna look like kind of a warning thing, you know. And what changes can we make? Okay, so here we've got this to be pulled, maybe pulled. We've got the y-axis to change, something like 70 to 80 to 92. Let's try, what about 100? Maybe that'll work. So, it's not working for me. How I change the y-axis? I will really change the y-axis. No, that's 120, so I'm gonna give it to 150 so that this looks kind of perfect. We've got a lot of space to use on the screen, so okay, didn't we draw the button on the screen? So is that button? Why isn't there a button on the screen? No, we've given this button.draw on the screen. Maybe let's comment this and see if something happens. Yeah, I remember giving that. No, there was a button on the screen. What? There's this button.draw on the screen. What's the problem? Let's just control X this. Control X. Now let's see. There was a problem, I remember. For event, I think we didn't update this thing. Actually, okay, so here's the thing. The button is behind the screen. We've given the screen dot fill thing after the yes. Oh, control the. I'm gonna give this button dot draw. Hopefully that's visible. I just literally forgot about the button. Button dot draw on the screen. Hope that's okay. So there's some problem with this thing. I'm just gonna paste this. Okay. Now hopefully there isn't. Okay, so the button is visible. Okay. I was just scared about the button. So now that after that's resolved, let's see how this looks. Basically it goes straight ahead, but I'm just gonna change this to a little bit greater there. And how does that look? So I'm gonna give it a value of 175 after. So okay, that's good. You can customize it according to you. I'm just giving it some random values. Click the button below. I'm gonna say click the button to start the quiz. Long sentence. Click the button. As simple as that. Click the button. Okay. This gonna be of blue color maybe, or let's say some other color. Let's say gray. How does that look? Gonna give that a value of 200 because I have to give a large distance between the texts. So gray color is looking fine, but we do need to change the y coordinates. So I'm gonna give it a direct 300. Let's let there be some space. Everything looks fine, so our main screen is kind of good. So basically I give this black colored screen behind, but you can choose image to be in the background, stretched to the background, so your quiz will look more interactive, maybe um you know a good design. Maybe I actually don't have words for that now. So this is kind of going good till now, but now we want to change the screen when we click the button, and that's when we go like there's this variable that's coming. So I'm gonna give this variable a better name, that is on underscore button underscore click. So on button click is false. So after there's a click, on button click becomes true. So basically that's what happens. Got that right? Okay. So if on button click, then you know um we gotta change the screen, right? Because after they click on the button, we want a change in the screen. And then we got the images, we got the questions, we got the options, and then we gotta capture the keyboard arguments basically. So that's how the game proceeds. So after each question, we gotta repeat the same thing again and again and again for every question. So let's see basically how this thing works. So at the start, it goes like change screen, because when you click the button, we gotta change the screen. So the thing we gotta do is after we define the thing, we gotta change the screen. So as you can see, while we define the function here, there's the screen that is taken into consideration. Next, the question, the color of the question, the color of the text of the question basically, and the x and y. Now what we could have done to make this efficient is we could have used this draw text thing here itself, because that's basically a replica of this, right? So we could have done that. I'm gonna did it now, like if I have time, but okay, let's do this. So I'm gonna give this is basically the same thing, so we can replace this. The only thing is that color is gonna go instead of this yellowish color. And then the variables don't really matter because they're in the function and they don't really matter outside. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just copy this draw text function, the thing, and I'm gonna keep, okay, first I'm gonna keep this as a comment so that I can use this. I'm gonna just remove here, everything. I'm gonna copy the draw text function here, and instead of writing more lines of code, I'm gonna give the text as the question, basically the question, the size, the basically the size was 30. I remember that the x and y is used, and the color here is gonna go where was that gonna go? So the color, okay, I'm just gonna copy this. I just forgot what that is. So just copy this. I'm gonna basically cut this. I'm gonna paste a remove this comment just one there. Okay, so there's this question, the size, everything's good. Awesome. Now, here here after the screen we gotta give what question, color, and x and y values. So the question is gonna be basically, let's use this image first. Let's start with an image. So how many triangles are there? Let's get started with an image. So let's say how many triangles are there. And then okay, so of course after all of this we got something like after after we don't need to explain the question in a, a big description, because we already got this image here which says how many triangles are there. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically go ahead and I'm gonna say something like, okay, where's that thing? Okay, here. How many triangles are there? After this thing, there's gonna be, okay. So the first question is how okay. So that doesn't really matter. So next I'm gonna give the color of the question. I'm gonna, which is gonna be in. So I'm just gonna say, okay, the color of the screen, right? Like, okay, so the color of the screen, let's say we can change the screen to a blue color. So we gotta say the x and y values basically. So what do we require? I'm really, you know, the question, the color, the x and y. Just keep it in mind. So this is the question, the screen, the question, the color, the x and y values. So right now I'm just gonna experiment with that a little bit. Maybe I'm gonna give that 150. So let's see if this works. I just hope this works. Okay, so I've started running the program. Awesome. Did you look at the beauty? Huh? Okay, so awesome. This is literally working. You know what? Now you understood the importance of the change screen function. Basically, when you click this button, this is a whole new blue screen. And then there is a question popping saying how many triangles are there. Now we gotta give a image below that. So uh let's say we're gonna give it screen dot blit, something like screen dot blit. We're gonna give the image of the my thread thing, and this text was basically blitted at 150. So I'm gonna lower down the y value a little bit, and the x value seems perfect, but still. So let's make that 200 and 200. Hopefully this works. For us. So this image is going crazy. Um, we gotta give this a strong 100. Basically, 200 is too much, so let's give it a basic value of 150. Seems kind of perfect, but still, that's good. So basically, I'm doing this in the rough to speed up the process a little bit. Next, of course, we need to give options for the person to answer our question. So basically, we're gonna give some options like the triangle. So many triangles are there? Basically, okay. I didn't actually write the answer of the question. So basically, um, let's take the cube first, because I don't have the answer of this thing right now, because I have the answer of how many cubes. Okay, let's say the triangles. Well, how many triangles are basically there? So I remember there were 49 or something. So I'm just gonna show you how these options work. So there's this draw options function. So I'm just gonna say draw options. What these values stand for, let's just revise this function Okay. So O1, O2, these are the text, X1, X2, Y1 as the name seems, they are the X and Y values. And basically these things print the options under the screen. So options, I'm gonna give texts. So the first option is gonna be 40. I remember this thing to be 49. Uh, let's give some other options saying 50. I'm just gonna say I'll just see this what options are there. So let's say 40, 50. I'm just gonna say something in between, and then I'm gonna give the last option. Okay, saying 49. Let's assume the answer is 49. I'll just get the answers in the next session. So this let's say, like, let's consider the answer is 49 for now. We'll look at that a bit later. hmm Can we count their triangles right now? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is not a triangle. Okay, let's consider the answer to be 49. Or let's change the question. Let's change the question. This doesn't seem perfect. So I'm taking a question. Let's say this one. Um, let's say the chess one. How many rectangles are there in let it be triangles? I'm just really getting all the decisions right now. Let that be the triangle. I'm pretty sure the answer was 49. What's that 49? Okay, let's say the answer is 49. Anyways, you're gonna make your own quiz. This doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay. Next, we gotta give the x and y values. So basically, the x value is gonna be the same. The y values are gonna change because they are placed beneath one another. So let's say we give the x values as 200. Oh, that's not 200. 200, and we give the y values as 500. Next, we give the x values as 200 only, but we increase the y values a little bit. We get the 550. We keep the x value same. We give that 600. The y values are changing by 100, 50, sorry. So 500, 550, 600. Let's give that 650. Hope this is gonna be the same thing. Gonna, as you can see, okay, so this text is not quite visible, and the gaps between these lines are hilarious. So let's just reduce the gaps, a little bit. Let's say let's start short. It's gonna be 400. Here is gonna be 425. Here this is gonna be 450, 25, and then here it's gonna be 475. Awesome. Okay, so here I'm gonna change the color, everywhere. I'm gonna keep the color to green, so I'm gonna say green. So maybe green will show up. Not that sure, but I just hope green will show up. Or else we can give it as black, as simple as that. Black will show up on blue, of course, because blue is lighter than black. So just gonna change the values. Let it quick. Awesome. Next, let's see how this looks. So got this. Okay. So the questions are pretty visible, but uh okay, that's pretty visible. Let's hope we could change the questions. So mhm. Okay. So next, Is this visible or should I change the thing? That's quite visible. So after this, okay, so now as we see, as we run this thing here, it goes like this. And what we need is, I need, let's say we gotta give a small text saying, please type the key of your answer, 1/2/3/4. So basically that's a text which is drawn onto the screen. We can give it something like this. Draw text, let's say, please type the answer, please type the key of the option chosen. And after that, I'm gonna give this another draw text. I'm gonna indent this so that this looks something like that. Here it's it is gonna say 1/2/3/4. So these are the keys you can type, else it will be considered wrong. If you type any alphabet or something, if you type any special character or something, then that will be considered as wrong. So I'm gonna change the size to a bit, let's leave the size, but still give a new font size, it's boring to see the same thing again and again. Gonna this is gonna be like, instead of 200, let's keep it like 300. And maybe, what is the width and the height, defined at the starting, that's 700. So instead of 700, we can give it like something, maybe 500. That's gonna look good, of course. I'm just gonna comment this line for now. Let's see how that's visible. Okay. Oh no, I didn't expect this thing to be on the screen, It's gray in color, so gray color, of course, is not suitable. I'm gonna change the x-axis a little bit. Just gonna give it something like 200. The letter spacing is a bit bigger. How is it still, you know? Okay, so the x value has to be changed to 100 then. Does this affect this? Okay, yeah, it does, but I think that's pretty big, so maybe let's put it to as small as we can. So I'm gonna put it to 50. I'm totally tired of this thing. What? What the heck? This is invisible. Should I keep it at 0 or something? Let's say 10. I didn't expect that to be that small. Okay, the text size should be decreased a little bit. That's what I think. So instead of 10, we can now give it actually a size of 20. And let's see how that looks. So this is gonna look something like this. I'm gonna put the y-axis down a little bit so that it appears basically below the other text and images. So I'm gonna keep it basically at 600, and hopefully this works. This irritating, this is really irritating for me at least. So we gotta give this a size of 40. Okay, after we got this, okay, I'm gonna go with this thing, and this option. I'm just gonna uh I know, so I'm gonna give this a size of a bit smaller, so that this x and y values were 40 and 600. So this y value needs to be at least 40. So how can I say, like, 40, you're gonna give that 200. because the text is small, the size is small. Oh, I forgot to change the font. Is there any other color that we have? Because I'm really sucking at choosing colors. White will not work. Black will have chosen. Dark gray will not work. Yellow is there already. We have yellow. Next we've got had. I'm gonna go with the same red color. So red, this is actually gonna be 625, and then the X thing is gonna be at least 300. So that's how we basically run out of this. Okay, so this is how you format your screen. It's kind of headache. It gives me headache. It actually gives me a headache. So I'm going there. Gotta give this a value of 640 at least. So we've got like some more time. So basically that is how it's gonna look. So we got a text, we got image, we got four options, and then we've got some more text. So basically this is text, nothing else than that. And that's how one screen is gonna look like. But now how do we catch keyboard arguments? Well, we've learned that. And this is once we make this, we can just copy and paste this as many questions we have. Like for one question we're gonna change that to one. So we can just copy and paste this 10 times. That'll work for 10 questions, but we need to create different variables, of course. So we're gonna learn that a little bit, and after that we're gonna give that a pygame.display.update statement, and then we got some for loops and while loops. For loops basically, they're gonna work to change the keyboard arguments, getting the keyboard arguments. That's basically a good thing. That's gonna go really fast. Today today was a bit slow because we just create some text, some images, some options, and some more text. That was not really fast, but in the next session I'm gonna go quite quickly, so make sure you have revised or basically refreshed all the concepts. And so we got some if statements, and then we're gonna increase the score on every single time you press you choose an option. And then we gotta show a correct answer and a wrong answer every time you click key 1 2 3 4 out of that. And then at last we're gonna show the score. That is gonna include the change screen option. Basically nothing much to do in that. And once we get handy with this, we're ready to build that complex game which is left. And that's it for today, I think. So at least that's it for today. So basically what we did today is we refreshed what we learned all before. We did this, we created this button, we just gave some images, we gave a piece of text, we gave some options. And I don't really remember the correct answer, but I'm sure I'll get back with this in the next session. And so that's it for today. And it's quite some time now, coding. So that's it basically for today, and you can just go out, enjoy, and we'll meet in the next session, of course. So I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna go back.